Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Costume Code channel. Woohoo! Well, this has been a while in the making, and I'm so excited to have my guest today. So today with me, we have Michael Ground. He is the costume designer of The Boys. And
Woohoo!
back with me is Laura Jean Shannon. She is the specialty costume designer of The Boys. And I noticed from the credits, also a producer. So cool.
Thank you.
So anyway, I am absolutely thrilled and excited to have you both here today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
And LJ was here before when we were talking about Murderbot. So, and actually I teased you at that time, would you come back and talk about The Boys? So here you are.
Yep. Happy that we're getting to all get together.
I know.
Well, before we get into the show, Michael, this is your first time with us. So I just wanted to get to know you a little bit better. We were chatting before recording this, but would you mind sharing a little bit about yourself and how you got into costume design?
Yeah, I had my best friend in the whole world. She came to live with me. I was a club kid, child of the underground, and I would dress her to go out. I was 18 years old, and she started bringing me to work with her. So I started assisting her on music videos and commercials, and then she moved over to film and television. So I think I styled my first music video on my own at 19. And then I followed her over to, the world of television and film, and just kind of, did every position and worked my way up to costume designer at 28.
And I also want to just shout out to Michael because he is a fellow Canadian. I'm in Toronto. He's in Toronto. It's funny because I was watching how Reese Witherspoon says Toronto. I think it's put pretty close. It's like most people say Toronto. I don't know. Toronto. And
I'm
of course,
an honorary Torontonian.
LJ is an honorary Torontonian. She's done several films, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and of course, The Boys and Murderbot. So lots of
Titans.
The Titans, lots of shows. So yeah, and the reason why, by the way, just so everyone knows why I oftentimes like to shout out Canadians is we're very neurotic and we want everyone to notice us. So that's the way. I always make a point of mentioning that I'm Canadian.
That's funny.
Because we're living next to a beast. So anyway,
listen, these days it's a mighty good thing to be Canadian, huh?
Yeah, these days I just don't say anything, so I can still.
I know. And this show, it's like psychic. It's a predictor. It's like Nostradamus somehow.
I think I told you last time we were together. I call her Nostradamus.
So wild.
Absolutely,
it's insane. It's the timing of the insanity of the, because those guys write this stuff 2 years before you guys see it. And
it's absolutely bonkers.
Between last season, when the episode with the presidential, assassination attempt happening days, dropping days after one actually happening, and then this season with, Homelander fancying himself as God right after Trump posting that God-esque doctor.
It's so crazy. And then Trump shortly after
the gold statue.
The gold statue.
That was
I was thinking of getting one of myself put out in my front lawn. I don't know if my neighbors would appreciate it. A gold statue.
Well, we know a guy
in the office and came online.
You know a guy. Okay. Well, we have to get into the show, but before we do, I just wanted so people understand what it is your roles are. So, Michael, you're the costume designer, and then Laura Jean, you're specialty costume designer. So, would you mind explaining a little bit about what it is and how you kind of conquer and divide on the show, your roles?
Do you want me to jump in really quick on this?
Yeah, totally.
So I was Eric Kripke's first hire on the show because he knew it was going to be a superhero show, and he wanted to work with somebody who he knew and loved already, and trusted, who knows that world. So it's part of why I'm an associate producer, is I sort of came in early days and continued to do so every season, and with a much longer runway and base of knowledge of sort of the direction that we're going with the superhero aspects of things. And on season 3 of The Boys, it was clear that we were going to have a giant season, and we really hadn't landed on the right costume designer for the show. We wanted a local Toronto costume designer, but somebody who really had the chops to understand the nuances of this sort of grounded show that also has these, superheroes that walk among us. And I was looking for a collaborator that would be like my brother from another mother, Michael, that also would have this main line to Eric Kripke's brain. And so we actually met during the pandemic. He drove to my farm in central New York. I had been given Michael's information from Joyce Scher, who had designed season 1, episodes 3 to the end. And it was just the perfect fit. Like, it was a love fest from Jump Street. And having just given us a little bit of his history, part of what makes Mikey so great is that he does have that sort of underbelly club kid, sort of knowledge, and he just knows character and fashion and styling in a way that's just so elevated, but also just unique and understated. He understands understated elegance and also like a gritty reality and how to like mash that stuff up together. So that's sort of a circuitous way of getting to the answer to the question of how we have the separation of like who does what. We love collaborating together. In early days, Kripke and I get together and we talk about the superheroes that are coming up for the season. And we talk about what their lifespan is, what their roles are, the importance of them in the storyline, and how many resources we actually can afford to put towards them. So for somebody like Father in season 5, for instance, he's a pivotal role. Daveed Diggs, oh my gosh, crushed the hell out of it. And Mikey and I had the good fortune of getting to see him live perform his amazing song at the finale event on Tuesday night. And then I got to see it again on Wednesday night for an FYC event. So that was a costume that Kripke and I felt was important, that had a little bit of a longer runway and a bigger budget for us to execute. And then She-Line was our other new character for the season that my team and I executed, as well as the existing 7, like Homelander, all the guys, and Sister Sage and Firecracker. Mikey, the reason why I'm called specialty costume designer as opposed to super suit costume designer like I used to be called, is because Mikey actually does a bunch of the day player superhero now, characters now, because he's got the chops and the vision and is able to come up with some really cool stuff with that timeline that he's given and the budget that he's given to do the whole show, which is a massive show. So basically I do all of the, sort of my world of superhero characters, and then work with Mikey from early days, feeding him information on what's coming down the pike. And then he does the whole rest of the massive show. So it's a little bit of like a working together, but also working in our own sort of lanes as well.
Mm-hmm. Are you near each other in the building? Like, can you like, throw a paper airplane at each other, or how do you get a hold of one another, or do you text?
2 weeks a year.
And then we talk. Well, then we talk a lot. And then sometimes I'm like, I haven't talked to LJ in like 6 weeks, but our brains work the same way. And it's like, it's like, it's always, we're always good. There's never
do you ever send like a 1-word text or an emoji just to each other, just to kind of let you know how like brain exploding or something?
It's my like, how am I?
Yeah, and I mean, and it transcends just the boys. Like Mikey and I reach out to each other for all kinds of stuff. Like he just reached out to me the other day for the show that he's on now. Just because, again, he's my brother from another mother. We're so fortunate that we found each other, and it's a seamless sort of collaboration where there's just a lot of trust. And like if he has somebody in LA and my team and I are in LA, we can do a fitting for him, or do some measurements for him, or do some shopping for him, or go to the vendor that does the specialty fabric for him. And then he's in Toronto, so if there's something happening, boots on the ground there, that my team that specifically is dedicated to the superhero costumes needs a little bit of help with, he can jump in and help manage that. And or my team there can help him with the super suits that he's building there in Toronto. So it's just kind of, you know, just a collaborative sort of what has to happen when it has to happen, who needs to do it. We're there for
I think
each other.
having us start together too in season 3 in COVID, where it was like, you know, it was you weren't able to be in Toronto, and it was like we did everything on Zoom, and it was like I think that bonded us together immediately, because it was like, you know, you're just in a little box on the trolley in the fitting room.
Yeah,
that was
like,
crazy.
How about if I rip this out?
And that season, I had, I think, 8 new characters as well as the existing characters. So that was a really big super suit season. And yeah, Mikey definitely, you know, thank goodness he was there.
Yeah, and LJ, one of the things I noticed about you is you always uplift everyone around you. You know, like even with Shannon on Murderbot, like you do. Like you're one of those folks who just, you know, I make everybody else better. That makes me better. That makes the show better. And I absolutely love that about you. So just wanted to say that. Yeah.
Well, I'm very passionate about what I do as a costume designer, but part of why is because being a costume designer and a producer allows me to actually collaborate with other people and see holes and fill them and make sure that everybody feels supported. Like that to me is, you know, when people say, oh, why are we here? What is life about? I say to my team like 1,000 times a day, they're probably sick of hearing it. I always say life is about people, you know, and we're here telling stories about people and creating characters who are people, even if they're superheroes or, you know, they're all we're people, and we have to be there for each other. And one of the things that I have to say that I love about our show, that's something that the actors and Eric Kripke were talking about a lot at their panel the other night, was that people can look at our show and write it off as being cynical, but actually it's hopeful. Actually, what it is about is people coming together, you know, and really sort of doing something about it.
Yeah, I think that like Huey is sort of like is that sort of hopeful character, and you know, when everything is, as my son says, when all is lost, you know, Huey still sees the goodness, he still sees the light, you know, at the end of the tunnel, kind of thing.
Even
now,
Ashley at the very, you know, at the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ashley came through, and
Ashley, she did. I know she survived. She's a survivor, and she looked great, by the way.
I was just going to say, and looked fabulous while doing so.
Like this actually I was gonna pull up this outfit here of her. I just absolutely love this color on her. It's so fabulous.
So good.
Yes, she looks amazing. So anyway, and LJ, you were talking about how this show is very grounded. So one of the things I wanted to know is like, so for me, when I'm watching it, I feel like I could be in this world, even though we've got these ridiculous sort of this world building that has happened here. It still feels very grounded. So do you both want to speak to that nature of the show? Like you have the hyper, I don't know, wild look of the superhero costumes, but then you also have the very grounded looks. Like you think, I could go to the Eaton Center and probably pick something up that one of these characters have worn. So do you want to tell me a little bit about the Eaton Center? Is that a Toronto reference?
Didn't know. We know. Take it away, Mikey. This one's for you, babe.
You know, everything has to have a simple purpose. You know, there's no extras, there's no affectations. There's, you know, all of the boys, they're all dressed to go and deal with what they have to deal with in the world that day. So there's never any extra bits. It's everything's restrained, everything is pulled back, and they also have to be able to blend. They also have to be able to, you know, pop the collar and, you know, and move through a crowd. They have to be able to kind of go unnoticed. And, you know, especially, you know, in the earlier days when we were more New York City, you know, any of these looks could, you know, walk down any street in New York and not be noticed. But on
absolutely,
you know, their own, they are iconic, and as a group, they're extra iconic.
Yeah. By the way, I love this photo because it's such a great shot. Like it kind of it's like a V, like a roof almost, like a chevron. The way that they set that up. So and just like a wonderful representation of all of their looks. Of course, Butcher. He has these amazing coats that you put on him. The next question. What's that? What's that?
What's
They weigh
that?
like 30 pounds. It's like armor. They literally weigh 30 pounds.
Yeah. Oh, there he is. But
Yeah.
I had when I can find them, I'll find the other. Here, is this another one of him? No, that's him.
Oh, terror.
I will try. Yes, here he is, and he's probably using a naughty word in this scene. I have suspect.
Oh,
But
Jen,
always paired with some
Take
kind of
that.
fun shirt, though, right, Michael? Always paired with some kind of like
always
Hawaiian
a
or print.
Hawaiian shirt, never just out of the box Hawaiian shirt. It's, it's like we dye them a bit darker depending on the mood of the show. Every once in a while, like it's a bit more of a pop of bright, and never a typical Hawaiian shirt. It's always, there's always something a bit unsettling if you look.
It's like slightly, it's sort of slightly turned. No, what I wanted to ask you, because as someone who hasn't read the comics, is that something was that an influence from the comics, the Hawaiian or the patterned shirts that he wears?
I have an answer to that question. It actually came out of the pilot. The Hawaiian shirt was an inspiration that came out of conversations with Carrie Grace, who designed the pilot. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Dan, our director's idea.
Oh.
And it was a Cuckoo Bananas idea that just somehow was the right move.
Mm-hmm.
So it does depart from the comics, but I think that it's over the course of time become his trademark. And I just love watching how Mikey's taken that and elevated it, like he was saying, with unsettling imagery. And, when you see all of those shirts in a row and you see the dye jobs that they've done and ombres and, how different shirts are different moods for different scenes. It speaks to how the work that Mikey and his team do, it imparts a mood, and that's the understated elegance that I was saying about his work earlier.
Mm-hmm. And I guess Carl Urban was like during the fittings, he's super on board. This is my jam. Because I just interviewed, I was mentioning Antoinette, who did the bluff with him, a completely different look for Carl Urban in that. And she said he likes to be involved in his wardrobe. Some actors I know aren't. So how was that process working with Carl on selecting his wardrobe?
No, Carl's very involved, and we have a lot of shirts. We have a lot of trial and error, but you get there, by making mistakes. We do dye samples, we refit, because a classic Hawaiian shirt is not a flattering fit. The flattering fit is what we just saw when he's looking at Terror. So, they're we take them all apart, we put them all back together to a very specific pattern that we've worked with Carl for a few years. So everything is, it starts from a shirt, and then it goes to get dyed, and then it gets completely taken apart and recut into the perfect butcher Hawaiian, in quotations, shirt.
I'm just noticing here, it looks like he's wearing fingerless gloves.
Yeah, so that was something we introduced in season 3, actually.
Yeah, I love that. It feels a bit like Artful Dodger or something, like out of Dickens.
Yeah, we had a very cold winter.
Yeah, that's the problem with Toronto, right? Shooting in the winter.
Yes.
Okay. And we just can't catch a break. We just keep having to cycle back into
It's still cold.
Winter.
It's still cold today.
We're putting our ladies in tiny super suits that they can't.
Antoinette was telling me. And Antoinette was telling me about her the hot new thing is these thermals that can be plugged in with batteries. Amazing, right? Like something we didn't have like maybe 20 years ago. Are you using, I'm sure you're using all the things.
So great. I've taken the plug-in thermals, and I've taken them apart on other shows and actually taken all of the hardware out of them and built them into character coats. So you take like 6 coats, dismantle them completely, and then you have an actor out there in the middle of the winter in a linen coat, but it's just heat beaming.
That's great.
Yeah,
I want one of those for myself. I usually just use the Hot Pockets or whatever. Now, this is just a fun question for both of you. So without spoiling anything, was there a moment this season where you stepped back on set and thought, Okay, this is the final season. Like, just like kind of like your, emoji head explode kind of moment. Did you have that, either of you?
Well, we can spoil anything now, right?
Okay,
well,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, of course.
No spoilers anymore.
Yeah.
It's all out
It's
there.
out in the ether.
To me, I think it started from the beginning. It started with Freedom Camp, and it was like, like how much further can you go from here? Like, it's, we've got a concentration camp for the most part. We can't really push it much past that. And those lovely sweatshirts.
They're amazing. That gets
I love
amaze
that you
balls.
I love that you did like the cape on the back. Basically.
Yeah.
It's like a kid's costume.
I think we had 500 of those costumes.
That is, oh my gosh.
We had screen printers all over the city, crying into the screen prints, trying to finish them in time. There was a lot of trial and error. Screen prints that big or not.
Yeah, and I want to find one of Stan Edgar. I have one of him in it. I'll see if I can find it while we're talking. By the way, there's a book years ago that I read. It's a young adult book called Unwind. And there is sort of like an unwind concentration camp type thing in that book where everyone wears like happy colors and everything, all the decor and everything is super happy, but really it's like a menacing, horrible place. So I just kind of had to laugh when I saw that episode. It just cracked me right up, especially I'll see if I can find that one to Stan while we're chatting. But sorry, go ahead, LJ.
For me, knowing that it was the end was in the first episode as well when A-Train died.
Yes, of course.
That was really hard when Eric, he's been saying the last couple days when giving speeches and things that he had to make a lot of phone calls this year because you have to call each actor when they're dying. He's like, I made a lot of phone calls this year. But he also has to call us and tell us, so
absolutely
he called me right out of the gate and said, yeah, no suit for A-Train because and I was like, oh, so sad.
Absolutely. And even I'm sure even people who are, covering the show and everything, they were probably doing predictions on who was going to make it out. I was actually kind of surprised that Huey made it out. I didn't think he was going to. So
I think everybody was surprised. My son, every single episode was like, I can't believe the Deep's still alive. And then the way that they wrapped that up, both with Homelander finally telling him how he really felt about him, and then also the giant octopus bringing it home. It was just so cathartic.
Yeah.
And that Annie was the one that, got to have she didn't even mean to, but have her retribution in that way that still maintained her innocence was pretty brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And because and I was like, is that Samuel L. Jackson doing the hammerhead shark? I was like,
hell yeah.
So fun. So LJ, I have a couple of questions for you. So there are so many amazing soups that you've created over, the last 5 seasons. By the way, how many years has it been since
I've been working on this show since 2016.
Wow. Okay. So it's kind of that's quite the
I have a picture of my 18-year-old son who's about to go to film school in the fall.
Oh my gosh.
As an 8-year-old in Kripke's office holding up Queen Maeve's bodice to sell him on it because he had some questions about it. And I was like, all right, Carrie, all right, Seth, well, here we go. We're gonna go model Queen Maeve's bodice for Eric at his office.
Wow. So 10 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah. It's been like, obviously with this is the issue, I guess, is between seasons, you have all this, you have to do all the CGI and so on. So, my question for you was there a costume this season in particular that really pushed the limits technically or creatively for you?
Oh Father was a whole new vibe.
Yeah.
We have never gone gaudy, really. And my dear friend Lucy Corrigan, who I used to assist a million years ago, always would say to me, you, as a costume designer, can even make ugly in an elegant way.
Absolutely.
And I really have always brought that lesson with me, which is like my taste level requires elegance and my design style requires detail. So Oh Father had to be this like over the top, sparkle-tastic, larger than life character, but I still wanted to be able to look at him and be like, whoa, look at that craftsmanship. How did they do that? What is that? So I think that was a big technical challenge to create a character with fabrication styles that were drastically different than a lot of what we've done in the past, like bedazzling him and, just really pushing the limits with him, right down to we even got him a little gem for his tooth.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody
yeah.
asked Sarah, my associate costume designer, and I, whose idea that was. And I looked at Sarah, I was like, I don't remember, but it was probably your idea. And she's like, yeah, I come up with pretty good ideas. So, it's just, he was a lot of fun for us to spitball and just come up with, this whole new way of branding this holy character who, basically sold his soul to Homelander and flipped religion for the all-American dollar pretty swiftly. And David was just such a dream to work with. So, I love a good challenge, and he was a great partner in bringing this character to life because he was there for it. And I actually just saw him a couple nights ago, and I said, oh, so excited that we got that in because his rings were something that we designed to be almost snake-like, like almost like a rattlesnake if he did this with his fingers. And so he said, oh, yeah, no, I did it all the time, hoping that it would make it to camera. And sure enough, there's a great scene where he's being menacing and he's doing his little, cobra ring trick. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Or rattlesnake, I guess.
Oh, sorry, Laura Jean. I was gonna say, and I love his backup dancers and his and the choir, and then but by the way, it's funny because I just redid The Running Man, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And the thing that cracked me up is they're in this dystopian world, and yet they have backup dancers.
I love that.
So it kind of reminded me of that.
I sent that clip to my mom. I was like, see, Mom, I do nice things. You can show your church friends all the nice church videos that I design.
Oh my gosh, I know.
I didn't tell you guys this, but Mikey did send me a bootleg copy of them doing the dress rehearsal for that. And I watched it 4 million times because I was so in love with that scene. Just his dancers and Oh Father and David and his charisma. I mean, it's brought down the house, man.
Yeah, and also
angel, it's you don't get better than a twerking angel.
And I was going to say, and the addition of the purple I love because that's oftentimes the evil. Yeah, the nemesis, or what do you call it? The foil. So
good point.
I love the inclusion of the purple in there. It reminded me of Samuel L. Jackson actually in I think it's I'll think about it in a moment. Sorry. But my next question for you is, oh my gosh, Homelander. Wow. So this season, what I wanted to know is,
I can finally wear this hat that Phil.
Let me see what is it.
I've been not wearing it because I've been so afraid that people will know what happens.
Oh.
And now that everybody knows how.
Here, I'll see if I can profile you here.
It's literally like Homelander getting the crowbar.
He's amazing. It's sort of like Clue, right? He with the crowbar in the library. No, so what I wanted to ask you about this is, I mean, obviously his costume is completely iconic. But did you do any subtle changes of it over this season, given that he's now believes that he's like the second coming and that he's taking over for Jesus after he had that vision come to him? Like, was there anything that you did to show his, I don't know, emotional journey?
That's a really good question. We brightened them up a little bit, but of course we're always chasing fit and comfort, but the design is the same. We did spend a lot of time figuring out exactly how and where and when he gets damaged, because he gets the laser damage from Ryan a couple of times. He gets it in the chest in the Oval Office in that epic battle sequence that Johnny Koyama geniusly put together. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I oftentimes get bored in fight sequences when I watch big blockbuster movies. It's like when nap time sets in. But Coy and his team and our actors, like and our stunt performers, they just crush it. And that Oval Office scene was just so dynamic. So really, no, we did not do anything visually to show his, kind of arc. But let's face it, Anthony Starr, if there is a human being on planet Earth that can show us that arc with the tiniest twinkle in his eye or twitch in his mouth, then we get it with the performance anyways. He doesn't need any help from anybody.
Yeah, I felt kind of like he had a bit of a Cersei Lannister moment a few times, like both when he was, he was trying to endear himself to his son, you shouldn't be living in the shack, and then also his dad. And he was trying, right? He was trying to be like in some sort of strange way. Just brought so much nuance. He's an insecure child. Yeah, he just brought so much nuance to the role. Like you almost feel for him sometimes. I was like, okay.
Well, yeah, because it's literally Arrested Development. Like he was a tortured specimen as opposed to ever having a real childhood or ever feeling real love. And so it's, he's just the embodiment of being completely not, self-aware, being self-conscious and having no self-esteem. You take the powers away and you end up with a sniveling, shell of a man, really.
Absolutely. By the way, I love this shot. First of all, because we get a head to toe of Homelander. We rarely get that, but also the four characters. And look at this. We've got like Supernatural reunion here.
So great.
I'm so regretting not having one of those tracksuits.
It's so
I was
going
to say,
I'm so regretting not having.
You so should have held on to one of those.
I have this as a question for you. Is there an outfit and I immediately thought of this. Is there an outfit that you would wear from the show? And I immediately thought of Mr. Marathon's tracksuit.
Mike, you would rock the hell out of that.
It's so comfy looking. Like, look how comfy that is.
I would wear that to the grocery store. I would wear that to dinner.
And you would wear it well.
Yeah.
It's so great. Yeah. And how did Jared Padalecki feel about this outfit that he was wearing?
He loved it. So we started with a rack of tracksuits, and it was just we just weren't hitting it. We just weren't hitting it at all. So we very quickly pivoted to printing our own fabric in a very rushed fashion out of Montreal. And getting that fabric shipped back as quickly as we can. There was many late nights. We needed a lot of multiples.
So, of course.
Yeah, there was
lots of exploding heads.
He blew through every famous person.
There were many late nights of getting those tracksuits ready for camera. But, the end result, Eric was right.
Yeah. And what is the motif that's on there?
It's just like a little emblem. It's just a little it's a little pattern we found online. I think it was a wallpaper we found. And
okay.
And then we just riffed off that and did our own little version of it. And that's the the midnight quick thinking.
Yeah.
And I love sitting across from each other. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that?
Yeah, and I love the color blocking on it as well. But it just looks so cozy and like, just something you would hang out in the,
in a $45 million mansion.
Exactly. Yeah. And
what's best.
Yeah.
And what about Mal Chemical? What was your thinking behind this look that he's wearing here?
We just wanted to go LA stereotype. Am I allowed to say douchebag?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I swear on the show all the time.
Fits.
Just, so spiritually connected, not all a facade. So everything was, the shirt would have been designer, the jeans would have been bought that way. Nothing's real. There's nothing real in that whole look.
It was so fun with some of them had been canceled, like some of the, our famous folks had been canceled. And I kept thinking of MacGruber when I was watching this. I think there was some joke about MacGruber maybe online. So that's why I was thinking about it. So, by the way, and LJ, I also want to ask you about Sister Sage. When I was looking at this, she reminded me of like a Gucci bag or something. What was the inspiration behind her outfit?
A Gucci bag.
Yeah, so I was right. I got it right.
Yeah,
I'm so proud of
the
myself.
Inspiration behind Sister Sage was, she was very specifically, we created her to be a trope. Like if Vought Rising, which is presumably a bunch of white men, wanted to decide Vought Rising, sorry, that's our other show. If Vought,
yes,
if Vought, the corporation, presumably a bunch of white men, wanted to, sort of go figure out like, hey, what should Sister Sage look like? They would lay into, they would give direction to LJ, because I'm in canon as the super suit designer as well. The notes that they would give would be like, we want her to be urban, but designer, like she should have some bling, so it's sort of like taking all of these like stereotypical kind of athleisure meets designer meets superhero meets a little nod to her African heritage, and we laid into those things. We wanted it to be a little bit like Sister Sage hates her suit because she doesn't think of herself as Sister Sage. She thinks of herself as Sage, and she thinks that this suit is obnoxious. And yet also those same rules that I apply to myself that I mentioned earlier with a whole lot of detail and elegance, so that, we created the suit out of this beautiful Armani silk that's like, $150 a yard. And we did our, own custom high density screen printing that is the Sister Sage logo that we created, so it was all sort of an amalgam of all of these things combined together with those same design philosophies and principles that we've used for all of the characters, so that she resonated as part and parcel a piece of the Vought cinematic universe.
Yeah, it's funny when you mentioned her sort of African heritage. As soon as I'm now looking at this, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking Wakanda. I'm thinking it's got the tabs and everything. But yeah, no, as soon as I saw that, especially with the gold chain in the front, I was like, oh, she looks kind of like, a high fashion bag. So I'm kind of glad I got that, because
you got it.
Fashionista.
Thank you. Good.
Amazing.
We did our job.
Yes. I want to make sure we get through a few more questions before we run out of time. It's so much to talk about. So, Michael, for you, so after working on the show since season 3, that's when you started the show, did this season feel bigger from a costume standpoint? And as a result of that, did you feel like more pressure that you had to like deliver the goods? Can you comment on that a little bit?
So every season of the show is huge, but I will say nothing will ever be as big as what season 3 was.
It's true.
Season
3 was our biggest.
Season 3 was
season 3 was off the charts. Season 3 was trial by fire for my and family.
Season 3 was. I think I had 12. I did about 10 or 12 super suits that season. We did Hero-gasm. We had COVID. It was that.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Season 3 was, and we'd have actors come into the fitting room, and they'd come and they'd quarantine for 2 weeks. Oh. So we'd have actors show up after being locked in a hotel room for 2 weeks. And it was like, either they couldn't stop talking or they were still in their own little personal isolation. It was, season 3 was about as tough as it ever got.
Yeah. And then you're probably masking as well while you were having to do, doing the shooting and the fittings.
When we first started doing the superhero fittings that season, we had to have shields, gloves, like the whole 9 yards. It was nuts.
I can't imagine how uncomfortable that would be.
Well, Kim and I would sit and work, and we'd hold a bottle of water as if we were about to take a sip for hours. to not have to put that mask on.
No, I don't blame you. Yeah. So while you're typing, you're just like,
Yeah, it's like,
like
no,
your baby
I just
bottle.
like to have a sip.
Now, by the way, I noticed, obviously Huey has these iconic, graphic tees like Billy Joel. They played Billy Joel out. I think it played out right at the finale. But I noticed, because I'm a huge Hall & Oates fan, that you had a Hall & Oates. I think it was Rich Girl, maybe Sarah Smile. So amazing.
Hall & Oates, Rich Girl. That's one of my
Yeah,
all-time favorite.
for sure.
That's a full volume in the car.
Same.
For Huey's t-shirts, there was always a little touch to it. And again, this was, Kim and I in the office at 11 o'clock at night, midnight, just listening to yacht rock, figuring out what song is going to match up, finding, and then we'd find say 25 t-shirts that we could actually maybe possibly clear. They go through clearances.
Oh, I'm sure, because of copyright.
That goes down to like maybe 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go through Eric, and then that goes down to maybe 5. Maybe.
Wow.
And then it goes to Jack, and it goes down to, and it's a huge undertaking. It's an absolutely massive undertaking.
Wow. Well, here you can't even see what he's wearing, because he's covered in blood.
He's in his Western look. He's found.
Love this. Is it Wrangler? What brand is this?
That might have been a Wrangler. It was a vintage Wrangler.
Absolutely love it. And you do like to do vintage for Huey, right? Compared to some of the other characters who have newer clothing. So that's really fun.
I always love doing a vintage prototype. I think there's nothing better than, getting that perfect vintage piece. You sell it, the actor feels it, the producers feel it, and then you take it to our beautiful artisans and we make it. And we make the 18 or 24 or 6 or however many it is we need.
Yeah, depending on much blood.
Yeah. It wasn't. I did reviewed a show a long time ago, and actually it was. I think it was like a swimsuit, like a Speedo, and I had learned that the designer had to make all of them, and I never knew that was even a thing, where you would take a vintage piece and then have to recreate it. So that must be so challenging. I can't even imagine.
It is challenging, but it's also sometimes it's easier.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because you can get you throw it on. It's you just mark how much longer you want the length, because vintage is a tricky fit on modern bodies. We've all we all eat more, we work out more, we're just different. So it's every once in a while you get to throw on a vintage piece, but being able to have the reference sitting there in front of you as it goes from being cut to being stitched to being aged to being does make the path a little easier.
Yeah. And then also if you need like multiples, like because this brings me to my next question about dealing with an enormous, I think is there a term that the boys uses for the way brains explode or heads explode? Because it almost looks like almost like a patented technique. I was like, this seems like a very specific to the boys' world way of heads exploding. So with all the blood and the gore, and I just showed you that picture of Huey with, that's Butcher, sorry, where he's just covered in goo. So I can't even imagine what that's like for you guys. How do you tackle that?
We test everything. There's nothing on our show that goes on camera without a test. I've done tests with Eric when he's been directing at 2:00 in the morning on a backwards Kamiko. I've done, everything is tested. So on the day, so many of our sequences they're so daunting. Even when you're flipping through the script and reading it, you feel anxious and daunted by it. But then you're like, no, we break it down, we test everything, and everything goes beat by beat by beat. So we always make sure that
and you loop in prosthetics and props.
Yes,
and
there's
FX,
we have prosthetics,
so
we have VFX, we have special
using.
effects, we have props, and we're all in the fitting room with with all of our lovely actors, contorted into some position, and let's lay you down backwards, and let's try this and let's try that, and make sure. There's also it was the human trafficking Russia episode. and it was trying to find the perfect design, the perfect dress, and get the perfect shoe for Kimiko that she could use as a weapon. And that was, I think those shoes came in, we figured that out in the 11th hour, but it was like, what can she start fighting in? What can she kick off and kill somebody with? What can she, still fight in? What can she walk in? What can we, there's always a huge amount of R&D, research and development.
Yeah, it just sounds like being prepared. Like you're like a Boy Scout. You have to always be prepared, right, for the every eventuality. And have multiples and also just even the physicality of the roles. Like you must have to add gussets and add stretchy fabric bits and things in there so everyone can move and be comfortable. And I have to have that little brain emoji explosion thinking about your challenges here. But I want to just get one more question in before we wrap up. And that is, so the fans of the show, oh my gosh, they probably are messaging you constantly, but I know that they do an amazing job, especially the cosplayers and so on, of recreating these looks and so on. So, are you aware of the community, or do you ever go to Fan Expo or any of the Comic-Con shows,
Sarah
panels?
And I just got back from New Zealand, where we were guests at the Armageddon Expo there, and it was awesome, and it was so fun to be on the whole other side of the planet and having people dressed as Homelander, and there was this adorable couple. They were married, I think, 2 guys. And one was Homelander and one was Soldier Boy. I was like, guys, that's a little excessive.
Well, isn't there a line in the show where
like I think like the hair and the makeup, it's just that's so great. And then my son and I go to Comic-Con San Diego every single July. And it's so much fun to see the cosplayers there. There's always invariably tons of the boys there. And it's really neat, especially if I see somebody that really brought their A game. I'll go up and I'll be like, hey, that's a really awesome Queen Maeve. They'll be like, oh, thanks. And they'll be like, oh my God, you're LJ. Which is so sweet and gratifying because there are people, absolutely think about the cosplayers. And Sarah and I literally sometimes cry in fittings because we're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what the cosplayers are going to do with this, And we had a lot of people. The event in New Zealand was really nice because we had a lot of FaceTime with a lot of fans. We did, I think, 3 panels, and people came with really great questions, and then they came to see us at our signings to ask more questions. And it's just really fun to be able to interface with the fans and give them some, Sarah's especially good at giving them really great creative input because she's a builder. I met her designing a little big commercial for the Russo brothers with a bunch of kid superheroes, and I met her. She built those for that commercial, and I was like, oh, you're awesome. And the rest is history. But we've been partners for years now. But we love that aspect of things, and it's fun keeping the secrets, but it's even more fun when we can start telling the secrets. And Mikey and I both just completed a couple months ago Bot Rising, and they just dropped the first teaser trailer for that this morning. So
I'm gonna have to put a link to it in the body.
Yeah, please do.
Well, because that was gonna be my final question. What are you both working on next?
1, 2, 3. Bot Rising.
Bot Rising.
Oh my gosh! So it's sort of like The Godfather. You think you get out, and then they pull you back. You can't leave.
Oh no, we are part of the fabric of the nation of the Voss universe.
There's nowhere I would rather be. It's
amazing.
It is. It's there is so much love. There's so much kindness. From our execs to the studios to everybody is.
Yeah, we all love each other genuinely. The studio executives, our Amazon executives. It's just everybody really believes in the mission, and I think that's part of why it's such a hit, because that resonates with audiences. We have fans because it's a fan-worthy show, because we have leaders who put together this amazing team of people who all really love collaborating with one another. And, you know, you've mentioned several times during this interview all of the challenges. Like, this is a tough show, but it's so much more fun to be challenged doing a tough show with people that you love working with and creating, you know, this cathartic body of work that allows people who are watching it a little bit of, you know, yeah, they get it, you know, and also for the people working on it. Like, I feel like this show has been, for me, a way that I can actually affect positive change and you know, impart a message that I think is important. So it's not just art for the sake of art. It's, you know, it transcends that. And I think that everybody that works on the show feels that way. And I have to say, like, you interviewing us this week is coming at a time where my heart has never been more full, because we've all just been together for days with the finale events and celebrating our accomplishments together and talking about, you know, Mikey, I wish you had been there. Mikey had to go back because he's working on another project, but he'll be back for us to do a panel together next week. But he wasn't there for the actors panel. And I wish you had been, Mikey, because we were sitting in the front row and the actors were like crying and they're like, you know, there's our team, you know, like we're all like, we're a family. And when I heard each one of their answers to the questions in that panel, I just thought every single one of them is a brilliant person and has a brilliant answer. And that's a testament to Eric Kripke, just knowing he was in the room casting those people. You know, like, it's not by accident that we have a cast where they're all phenomenal and they all love each other and they all bring their A game, you know, and it's just lightning in a bottle. I just kept saying that the other night. Like, it's lightning in a bottle, and who doesn't want to be a part of that?
And it is family. It's like, you know, we laugh, we fight, we yell.
Of course. One of the things I love, by the way, about the finale is at the very end, and they show all the cast pictures, or sorry, all of the tech people, all the people behind the scenes who put their heart and soul into this show, and it was just really heartwarming to see that. Also, I love that the show kind of closed with Jim Beaver because, you know, I was a huge Supernatural fan, and I love because his character's name is the name of the producer, right? Bobby Singer, is that correct?
Yes,
one of the producers.
Yes.
But also in Supernatural, which is really funny.
Yeah.
In both shows, he's got the same name. So that was really fun. And just obviously having the reunion of all this season, having the reunion of all the Supernatural team. So, but I gather Jensen Ackles will be in Vought Rising. Is that correct?
Oh, he
He's our
sure
star.
is.
Yeah, he's your star.
Yeah.
He and I
So,
have cash. Yep, they're our stars.
Yeah.
Yay.
It's pretty awesome.
Well, I want to thank. I'm so excited. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the trailer after, and then I'll put a link to it below. And also, both of you, you're on. LJ, I know you're on Instagram. Michael, you're on Instagram, I believe.
Instagram,
too.
yes, I am.
So if people want to go over there, because I know you're both posting pictures, and they can see some of the behind the scenes.
We both suck at it a little bit.
We're both the
No, you
worst.
don't.
I literally have to say, I think I have to hand over my Instagram to a 20-year-old and be like,
I tried to hand it over to my 18-year-old, and he's like, I'm going to retire.
No,
it's going to be like, you know.
It was so funny because yesterday I said to Antoinette, I said, I need some help. She goes, why don't you get an intern? And I'm like, how do I do that? And she says, yeah, you get an intern from school. And then I said, oh, great. I can handle the technical things, you know, that I don't know how to do, because for them, it's like, you know, biz, bang, boom, right?
It's just in their DNA.
It's in their DNA. Because like you, I have an 18-year-old and he doesn't want to have anything to do with my stuff. Like, no way, mom. You know, I don't care about that. So, well, anyway, I should wrap up because otherwise I'm going to get in trouble. And also I've kept you both quite a while. So anyway, I want to thank you both so much for doing this interview with me today. It was such a blast. And of course, all of the seasons of The Boys are out. There's no spoilers. And we just had the finale that was out. And so you can watch it right now on Prime. It's got to be one of Prime's biggest shows, by the way. I don't know what the ratings are. It is Prime's biggest show. It is Prime's biggest show. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
and we continue to increase our audience. So,
it's insane. It's just wild.
It's funny when you go on Reddit and someone's like, I just started watching the show. Should I continue? Like, yes, continue watching it.
Oh my God. If I could just find the show today and start watching it.
Lucky them.
I
40
know.
episodes, 40 hours of The Boys without.
Yeah. You could have a wonderful,
Epic.
you could have a wonderful weekend, just, get some snacks and just do a full on binge of the whole thing to be able to watch it that way. But anyway, so thank you both so much. And for everyone who stayed with us during this interview, I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys all in the next interview.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So I'm just going to end
As the
recording.
boys would say.